Hey there, have you ever looked at a pile of wood and just wondered if you could turn it into a genuinely beautiful piece of furniture? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to break down step by step how you can build this fantastic plant stand. I mean, just take a look at this thing. It's elegant, it's functional, and honestly, thanks to some really straightforward joinery and simple cuts, it is totally something you can build no matter what your skill level is. The design is just so clean, with this classic look that'll fit in just about anywhere. So, what's the game plan? First, we'll talk about what makes this such a great project. Then, we'll get all our tools and materials lined up. After that, we'll get into making the cuts, putting it all together, and finally applying those pro-level finishing touches. Okay, let's dive right in. There's this really unique satisfaction that comes from taking raw lumber and, with your own two hands, turning it into something both useful and beautiful. And that's the feeling we're really going for here. This quote from the original guide just nails it. It's not just about what you get at the very end. You're not just building a great piece of furniture, you're also enjoying the actual journey of creating it, learning new skills and seeing it all come together piece by piece. All right, let's talk prep. Any woodworker will tell you the secret to a smooth, enjoyable, and successful build is having everything you need laid out and ready to go before you start. It just makes everything so much easier. And you'll see the list of stuff you need is pretty straightforward. The tools are mostly standard workshop items. For the materials, we're mainly looking at some beautiful mahogany, which is just a great wood to work with. It has this rich color, and a standard 12 by 12 inch ceramic tile. Nothing too crazy here. Now, before we start cutting, let's talk about the key joinery technique we're using, the dowel joint. These little wooden pins are amazing. They create incredibly strong and, more importantly, completely hidden connections. This is how we get that clean, high-end look without a single screw showing on the frame. All right, with our prep done, it is time to make some sawdust. The cutting phase. This is where we turn our raw lumber into the precise individual components of our plant stand. And listen, accuracy here is everything. This exploded view, this is going to be your best friend. Think of it as the visual blueprint for the entire build. You can see exactly how the legs, that's part A, connect to the shelf rails, C, and the top rails, D. It gives you this perfect mental map before you even pick up the wood glue. And this is where that precision really matters. Every single part from that diagram has an exact dimension on our cutting list. From the 4 28-inch legs all the way down to the shorter rails, getting these cuts right is the absolute foundation of the entire project. Okay, here's a fantastic pro tip from the guide that's going to save you a lot of frustration. When you use a router to create that nice angled edge on the legs, that's called a chamfer, the wood can sometimes splinter right at the end of the cut. It's called tear out. But by simply clamping a scrap piece of wood behind it, you support those wood fibers and get a perfectly crisp, clean edge every single time. Simple trick, huge difference. Now for the fun part. This is probably the most satisfying part of any build. All our pieces are cut, they're shaped. It's time to start the assembly and watch all these separate pieces finally start looking like a piece of furniture right before our eyes. So we kick things off by building the main frame. After you carefully mark and drill the dowel holes, it's time for glue and clamps. Oh, and see those little scrap pieces of wood under the clamps? Those are called cawls, and they're super important. They spread the clamping pressure out evenly so you don't dent the wood and you get a nice, tight, square joint. Then we attach the small cleats that are going to support our tile tray. Next up is the removable tray. We glue up the mitered sides, those are the 45-degree angle cuts that make a perfect corner. But here's where the design gets really clever. We carefully cut these small notches in the corners. So what are those for? Well, they allow the tray to fit perfectly around the tops of the legs, creating this seamless, totally integrated look. It's just a brilliant little design detail. So the main structure is built, but we are not done yet. The finishing stage is what takes a project from looking homemade to looking handmade. This is where we protect the wood and just bring out all of its natural beauty. So here's the final checklist to get us over the finish line. We'll give the whole piece a final sanding so it's silky smooth. We'll gently knock down any sharp edges with a bit of sandpaper, apply a beautiful Danish oil finish to make that mahogany just glow, and then, this is crucial, we'll seal the tile and grout. You might be asking, why is sealing the tile such a big deal? Well, remember, it's a plant stand. It's gonna get wet. A good penetrating sealer soaks into that unglazed tile and grout, and it creates a moisture barrier. That's what's gonna prevent mildew and keep it looking great for years to come. Now for the wood,
The guide suggests Danish oil, and for good reason. It's what's called a penetrating finish. So unlike polyurethane, which kind of just sits on top like a plastic film, Danish oil actually soaks into the wood. This protects it from the inside out and makes it incredibly easy to touch up any scratches down the road. For an even smoother glass-like surface, especially on a wood like mahogany, you can even apply a grain filler first.
And here we are, the very last step of assembly. Once that finish is dry, we just place the completed tray right onto its cleats and drive a few screws up from underneath. This holds the tray firmly in place, it keeps all the fasteners completely hitting, and just like that, the build is done.
And there it is, from a few boards of wood and a single tile to this elegant, custom-built piece of furniture. It's a project that's just as rewarding to build as it is beautiful to look at. It's really a testament to your own skill and a little bit of patience. So think about it. You just walked through how to master precision cutting, strong joinery, and fine finishing. These are the core skills that create furniture that lasts. So now the only question left is, what are you going to build next?